from Gobbler Ridge Farms, and I promised I was going to do another can cooker video, so here we go. On my last video, it ran a little bit long because I did a lot of talking and showed you a lot of tips. So if you're kind of new to the can cooker, you want to check out the Sweet Italian Sausage video. I go over a lot of safety tips, a lot of cooking tips, things of that nature. So you can get all those kind of tips there. I'm going to kind of focus on cutting or cooking the ribs tonight. But you know, things like don't stick your face over it in there when you open the lid and get a steamed facial. You won't do that twice. So those kind of tips and tricks are on my previous video. All right, tonight we are going to
be cooking.
Yes, the can cooker. You know, I showed you I've got this cookbook here. The can cooker actually comes with another cookbook. It has some recipes in there. We don't always follow them, do we, Jacob?
Nah.
Yeah, we do modifications. But we're going to be doing some barbecue ribs. Now, you can do a couple of different kinds of ribs. My wife likes the big honking country ribs, but I'm not a big fan of those. I prefer baby back ribs or St. Louis ribs. Now, baby back ribs are going to have a lot more meat. They're taken higher up on the rib cage, closer to the spine. They have a lot of curvature in there, so they're a little harder to stack on in a can cooker or on a barbecue or whatever. They do have a little more meat, a little bit less fat. And my favorite, which is taken down on the underside of the ribs, are St. Louis style ribs. And they've got a little more fat, a little less meat. They're flatter and easier to lay flat on whatever you're cooking them on. And they are delicious. So tonight, we're going to go with St. Louis ribs. Voila, full rack. And the first thing that we're going to do, so that we can season them up and all, is you're going to want to cut them into individual single ribs. So I'm going to kind of whack through these here. I can find where the bone starts. There we go. And we're going to cut them into individual ribs, and that's what we'll season and stack into the can cooker. So I'm going to whip through this real fast. If I whip through it too fast, you might find a finger in there in the ribs. So if it's extremely sweet, you know that was the one cut my finger off on.
Yeah.
We call that finger food.
Aha, got it.
Ha, he got it.
We do lots of jokes in this house.
Yeah, it's a granddad joke.
I've been having the recipe up for a while.
You know, I'm allowed to tell granddad jokes. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm your granddad, that's why.
Sorry if you hear
Alright,
me.
anyway, I'm going to be cutting these into individual ribs. You probably don't want to watch me do all that, so we'll pause the video right here, and I'll be back when I have them all cut into little pieces. One of these days, I'm going to put you on a game show. Alright, I've got the ribs cut into individual ribs. A lot easier to eat that way. And so what we're going to do next is start putting on some rub. And the book calls for, let me see what we got here. Let's see, can cooker, onion, pepper, seasoning. Quit shaking it, I can't read. Can cooker, butter, garlic, and things like that. So I kind of concocted myself. One of my favorite things is an applewood rub. And this is a Grill Mates by McCormick's Applewood Rub. Love it. Can't use too much of this stuff on there. One of my cousins was in a bunch of barbecue contests, and he actually used real applewood, and woo! He had a competition trailer, and he was award winning, and he would cook up some applewood ribs, and they were delicious. So I just kind of do the same thing here in the can cooker. Sprinkle it all on there nice and liberally.
Can I have some of those?
You cannot eat them raw. Now, when you move out of the house and you turn 21 and you're on your own and you're responsible for your own actions and you're paying your own medical bills, you can eat raw pork. While you're in my house, I'm not going to advise eating raw pork.
pay for the medical bills.
Yeah, and that will definitely make you sick.
And then, and also the medical bills will get higher.
Yes, they would. And I'd lose my little buddy. Now, the other thing I'm going to use is I like to put these Butterbud sprinkles. We're going to stick a stick of butter in there. Stick a stick of butter in there in just a little bit. But I like to sprinkle these Butterbuds on there. Helps get all the dry rubs and everything just to kind of stick to the ribs. This is, once again, McCormick garlic onion with black pepper and sea salt. And as I've stated before and will continue to state, you find what works for you. The recipes are just a guide. I like to play around with them. I have tried a few things that weren't as good, but I tell you what, these will turn out delicious. And this concoction that I've got here, I love it. Now, a lot of your mixes are going to have, garlic salt, garlic, onion powder, and that type of stuff already mixed in, with the mix. I like to add a little extra onion powder. And I also like to add a little extra garlic salt. I'm almost of the persuasion that you can't have too much onion powder or too much garlic salt. I know you can. I have done it. Especially on the garlic. My wife wouldn't kiss me for a week. Maybe she just blamed it on that. I don't know. Alright. Now I've got that all pushed down in there, rubbed on there. And then I'm going to take this barbecue sauce. You can use whatever barbecue sauce you like. The book recommends Sweet Baby Ray's. The one thing about that, though, and nothing wrong with it if that's what you like, but the number one ingredient in that is high fructose corn syrup. I like the sticky fingers. I'll read the ingredients quickly. Water, tomato paste, sugar, vinegar, molasses, salt, and then contains 2% of all the other junk.
I'm in the mix. I'm in the ingredients.
What, bologna?
No, molasses.
Oh, molasses. That's about how fast you are. But anyway, the ingredients on here are, I think, much healthier. And frankly, I love the flavor. Anyway, use whatever barbecue sauce you want. I'm going to put that on top here. They really kind of say to put the ribs in first and then put the barbecue sauce and just pour it over there. I like to make sure that I'm hitting it good and I try not to pour it directly onto the ribs, because one thing I don't want to do is knock all my seasoning off as I pour in my liquids. So I'm going to cover that up. Take our 2 racks, our half racks, put those over in the bottom. Now, St. Louis ribs will make a lot of grease and all that kind of stuff and not stick to your pan too much. But for easy cleanup, I always still like to put non-stick spray in there. This is one from Walmart, a great value. It's butter flavored, and you can't have too much butter in this stuff.
What about a stick of butter?
We're going to put that on top. So I've got butter buds, butter spray, and a stick of butter. That way I can give them to your grandma and I can butter her up. Now, you got that one too, right? Alright, next thing I'm going to do, take the ribs, put them over here in the cooker.
One thing I've noticed, are you only cooking that many at a time?
No, I don't have that much room on my counter, so I'm going to put these in. They're not going anywhere. I've got them captured.
I captured a flag. You've got the other team's.
And then I'll put the other ones on top. Now, you always want to make sure that you've got plenty of fluids in there. So I'm putting in 6 ounces of water. Once again, I'm going to kind of pour that off to the side. I don't want to wash off my dry rub. And now, for those of you who don't have cheerwine available, I love cheerwine. My relatives in South Carolina always bring it to the reunion, but I can't seem to find it where I'm at. So the next secret ingredient is this right here. Let's see if you can see that. Cherry Pepsi.
Oh, I want some. Can I have some?
Well, I'm not going to pour all of it in here. I'll save you a glass. But you're going to put 12 ounces of cherry Pepsi. And I don't know what it is about this stuff cooking in cherry Pepsi, but it to me, that's what sends it over the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in. And then when that cooks around and bastes, it is going to be some more delicious. All right, that was the first half a rack, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare the second half, and I'll be right back with you as soon as I have that done. I know you like my jokes, my humor, but enough is enough.
Yeah.
You can't have too much of a good thing,
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna snap and then they're gonna go see.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna snap and then you'll edit it whenever I snap.
Oh, now they'll know what's going on. Well, snap. Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
Wow, you've been practicing that magic. You get pretty good. All right, while you were gone, we loaded up the rest of the ribs over here in the can cooker.
Yes.
There they are down in there. And now I'm going to take a stick of butter and just plop it right on top. There we go. I had to do that one-handed. Stick it over in there.
Get the lid off.
Yeah, take the rim off. All right, there it is. Stick of butter on top. And so, you know what comes next, Jacob?
What?
The cooking.
Cookie.
All right, we're gonna go take them to the stove and let's get them cooking. All right, I've got the can cooker over here on the stove. It's warming up. Once it gets to a steam, how long do I cook that? Able-bodied assistant, bring the book over here. Come on, this is your big chance to be a star. How long do we cook it once it gets to the steaming phase?
45 minutes.
I thought it was 3/4 of an hour.
It's the same thing.
Oh, I can't trick this kid. So once you bring it up to a steam, we're going to cook it for 45 minutes. And while it's cooking for 45 minutes, I promised I was going to teach you a magic trick. And we'll spare the YouTube audience from any of our magic tricks.
Yeah.
All right?
In case they're a little bad.
Well, how about snapping us out then? All right, I'm going to show you this magic trick. It is called the magic trick of lucky threes. Or any facsimile. How about I show you the magic trick when we get back. All right, we've been playing cards and doing a little.
What about our snap?
We'll do it. We're already back. Oh man, you're good. Anyway, we've been doing some magic tricks and card tricks while this has been cooking, and our time is up. So I'm going to turn this off, and what we're going to do is we're going to let this rest for 5 minutes, and then we're going to put it in the broiler to caramelize another layer of barbecue sauce. So while this is cooling down for 5 minutes, I've already got the broiler turned on, and we'll be back in just a minute. You want to do another snap this time?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Snap! Snap! Wow, how'd you do that? I gotta quit teaching you magic tricks. Okay, our 5 minutes is up, and so we are going to take the can cooker.
With the ribbons out.
And we're going to take the ribs out of here.
I'll be taking mine.
Alright, always be safe. Move out of the way here so I can open these up. I always want to reiterate, open that away from you so you don't get a face full of steam.
Yeah.
And for the next phase, these ribs are looking good and they're well done,
Let me see.
but they're not quite pretty yet. And this is why I was talking about the St. Louis ribs versus the baby back ribs. The St. Louis ribs are a lot flatter. They lay on your pan real good. So I'm going to take these out of the can cooker, and I'm going to lay them on a baking sheet here. And go get the barbecue sauce, Jacob.
Oh yeah. You made me have sticky fingers.
Watch it, sticky fingers. Now don't play with your cards with sticky fingers.
Yeah, well. You made me have sticky fingers.
If you have sticky fingers when you're playing with cards, that's a good way to get shot.
Shot?
Yeah, you card shark. Wow, these ribs are fall off your tongs.
Haha, I got it.
Yeah, I couldn't pick that one up.
Haha, I got it. Was that even supposed to be a joke?
Do what now?
Oh, was that when the one without the real rib in there?
It might be. Watch out.
I can't really tell them all.
Secret weapon, I'm going to get a spoon. I don't have a brush, but you can do whatever you want to. And I'm going to take
You have a hairbrush.
some more of the sticky finger sauce.
You have a brush. You have a hairbrush.
Quiet on the set.
Sorry.
And I'm going to take the sticky fingers barbecue sauce and I'm going to pour it over the ribs, like so. And then once I've done that, I'm going to take my secret weapon, the spoon, and just kind of smear it on there real good.
Are you going to do that to the other side?
I'm going to do that to all of them. I'm just going to do it on this one side here. That's the part that's going to hit the broiler. And one thing about the spoon as opposed to a brush and whatever, it leaves the dry rub still on there. You know, a brush may knock it off or what have you, so I'm just going to spoon it on there. My wife likes it when I spoon anyway. That was a granddad joke. You're too young to get that. You'll learn about spooning when you're 35.
But then I'll be out of school.
Yes, you'll be out of school and you'll be old. You can leave when you're 35. Oh, how about that?
Alright. And whenever you're 95.
And hopefully I'm still alive at 95. Alright. What I did, I smeared some barbecue sauce on the ribs that we just took out of the can cooker. And now we're going to stick them in the broiler for 5 minutes to help caramelize the barbecue sauce that I just smeared around with a spoon. Watch out, boy, hot oven. Alright, we're going to set that for 5 minutes. We'll be back in 5 with some caramelized sticky fingers ribs. Snap us out. Oh, alright, we're back. Let's see here. Woo!
We were stuck in time for a little bit.
Oh yeah! And now they are nicely caramelized. Well, don't touch it. It'll burn the doodly squat out of you. Let's see. Can you see that? Woo-wee!
One of those is mine.
That's some good looking ribs right there. One of them's yours, and the rest are mine. And really, it's the can cooker cooking these ribs. It's as simple as that. Dry rub on it, stick of butter, some cherry Pepsi, and a little bit of water. Steam it for 45 minutes while you go do card tricks. Caramelize it in the oven, and these things are absolutely delicious and easy. And while it was broiling, I've already basically cleaned the can cooker up. It's ready to go for the next round. I absolutely love this thing. I endorse this thing. I wholeheartedly recommend that you get one. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to take it to the beach and put some fresh shrimp in it this summer. So, all right, that's going to do it from Gobbler Ridge Farms. We'll see you turkeys on the next video.